It's when people talk about the debt, it's like, I mean, when you think about it, it's like, when we run businesses, right, for people, you know, like if I was to go on a tour, right, and I was to kind of like go like, well, there you are, Frank, there's £1 million, and first there's £1 million in your dreams, right? Sean, there's a tenner. You know, if I was to do that, and I was to not, like, and I'm playing to, like, you know, 200 people or something, right? It's like, my books wouldn't be balancing, I'd be put out of business, right? I would be fucked, regally and utterly fucked. How come, right, the banks are allowed to do all this, and yet the guys that are the managers, the people that are in control of it, are all given bonuses? It doesn't make sense to me, right? And it's like, I'm like yous, kind of like, you know, kind of one of them Northern kind of island type people, you know what I mean? And it's I was brought up kind of like, you know, middle class family, but I was always at socialist leanings and stuff. And I hate people like Goodwin, the guy that was running the RBS, who completely fucked up and took Scotland's fucking pride and joy, right, a beautiful bank that was nice and tidy and did its business, but decided it was going to be worldwide and global, and bought some fucking viral fucking Dutch piece of shit, right? They basically took it down, and at the end of the day, he's still got a bonus, and he's still sitting there every year earning something like £400,000 as a pension. Just to flip it, right? I was in Cuba for 6 weeks at the beginning of this year. I was diving and shit, right? Every morning I woke up to go diving, right, very early, and every morning what I saw was hundreds of kids going to school. And these kids were all in starched white shirts, pristine uniforms, right? Looking really cool. They were on the back of bikes, they were on the back of horses and carts, they were on a bus, all going to school, right? And it was incredible to see. And there was no fat kids, there was no McDonald's or Burger King kids, you know, they were all lean machines, because they were doing a lot of sport as well. They went to school in the afternoon and then did sport, right? They also had a really good diet, right? Everybody was growing their own organic vegetables and stuff. And I was like, and it was just people go, oh yeah, but they have to get stuff off the government. Yeah, they do. Yeah, so what fucking, look at this fucking place. Look at fucking Britain. Look at Ireland, right? It's like, you know, subsidies. When I was there, right, people said, oh yeah, but in Havana, they've got doctors driving taxis and lawyers driving taxis because they can't get jobs. Yes, there are. Do you know why? Because education is fucking free. And if you're a farm worker and you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, right, you can. If you want to become an architect, you can. Because the education is free, and the state actually like pushes people to become as good as they can, but they don't have the jobs. There are hospitals in every town in Cuba, right? And it's stacked full of nurses. There are so many doctors, they export them to Venezuela in return for oil. The hospitals, right, are devoid of medicals. Because the Americans, the US, has put an embargo on Cuba, which means that no pharmaceutical company is allowed to deal with Cuba because it will face very severe fines, and if not, it won't be allowed to trade in the US, which means that the pharmaceutical companies, which are international, as we all know, don't trade with Cuba. So Cuba has got no medicine, so it's just us homeopathic stuff. And I know it's communist, right? And it's a really bad word, right? I walked about with a Nikon camera that was worth about a year's fucking wages to some people out there, right? I walked in dark canyons in Havana, right? Places you wouldn't normally go to while carrying an expensive piece of kit, right? I never once felt in danger or threatened. I never saw violence, I didn't see any violence, I didn't see any road rage, I didn't see any fights in bars, right? I didn't see anger, right? There was a lot of police, yeah, but very few of them with guns, and a lot of them were just keeping order, which everybody seemed to be quite happy about, right? And I just went, this reminds me of the 70s when I grew up, you know, when I was a kid. You know, the one thing I didn't see Sonny Bravias, I didn't see BMWs, Audis, Playboxes, blah blah blah, computer games, Apple Macs, fucking iPhones, blah blah blah, I didn't see any of that shit. And I'm thinking, maybe that's got something to do with it. Because people talked, people made music, sang, every place you went you heard music, right? People expressed themselves through art. It was wonderful. And I came across kind of Che Guevara, right? Che Guevara when I was a kid was a poster on a wall. Che Guevara was a t-shirt. Che Guevara was an iconic photograph. The photograph was taken around about 1961, I think it was, down at the dock in Havana, when a freighter, a Belgian freighter carrying small arms, was taken out by the American CIA in the harbour and killed about 70 people. And Che went down to the harbour to see what was happening and see if he could help the people, and somebody took a photograph in there, and that is the iconic photograph of Che Guevara. And when you go to Cuba, obviously you cannot miss Che Guevara, and I started to read. And I started to read about this guy, read what he wrote. And the guy, he's a fucking genius. The man was, his ideals were incredible. What he believed in, I mean, the fundamentals of what he actually believed in, right, were fucking on the button. He saw this shit coming a long, long time ago, right? And I wish there were hundreds of Che Guevaras in this world today. I really do wish there were, because we fucking need them, right? Che Guevara stood up in 1963 in the United Nations, right, on his first ever speech, right? And before which there was an interview with an American journalist, and the American journalist said, how can you talk to us about freedom and democracy when you live in a communist state run by a dictator called Fidel Castro? And Guevara came right back and said, how can you talk of that? You live in invisible boxes. And I thought, it's perfect. Because that's where we're at now. I'm 53. I should be kind of mellowing out about it. I'm not. I'm getting more and more angry. I am a wasp in a fucking invisible box. I'm sick of this. We live in a place, in a world where we talk about freedom. The West talks about freedom in Libya and freedom in Syria and da-da-da and Egypt and shit and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, it's not really freedom, is it? I mean, we walk about with iPhones. They've got GPS signals, so they know exactly where you are all the time, who you meet. Anybody can be fucking traced. Your Facebook pages, your religions, your sex, the messages that you think. I was just sitting here thinking of exchanging a new world for all, like changing the channels on TV, or the dirt that we stand into gold. When I was young, my father told me just bad guys die. I'm gonna leave you with this thought. I switch my Sky HD digital TV on and I watch a polar bear jump from an ice floe into blue azure waters. I watch the droplets explode. Just real, so real on the screen. And I watch that bear swim nowhere, because there is nowhere to swim to, because he's run out of ice. I watch 4x4 flatbeds, Katusha rockets, fire and smoke billowing across a desert, covering oil fields towards a city that will soon be full of ghosts. I watch landslides in Bolivia, photographs of heads and schools in Mexico. I watch typhoons hitting the Philippines, floods in Thailand, share prices drop as hard disks rust in floods. I watch stock exchanges crumble and fall. I watch the roses in my garden bloom 4 times this year. I'm still mowing the lawn. It's December. And the climate warnings are ignored because the money men says it costs too much money to think green. This is a song, a lyric, that was born in the darkness of the underground of the Piccadilly line in London in 1982. This song is us. This is a song about our generation. In all those years, nearly 20 now, in all those years, nothing's changed. Nothing. It's time to wake up. It's time to do something and become aware of what's happening around you. We are giving this to our children. It's our duty to do something, because they shall dine on a feast of consequences.
Vodka interlude and a fair with isolation in a blackie suit. Extinguishing the fire. The visionaries. Where are the poets? To reach the dawn of a sentimental misery. One more. The prophets. Where are the visionaries? Where are the poets? To reach the dawn of the sentimental misery. We are misery. We are misery. Sentimental, oh my Lord, my sweet Lord. We are fugazi. We are fugazi. First Patterson, Frank Cusher. Can you sing it tonight? It's called Derek, and I am a fish. Thank you very much.